Hey everybody, it's Tri-City Eric here. I'm going to do a little bandsaw box for you today and show you how I do these. These are pretty simple. All you need is two tools. Right here I've got a bandsaw, okay, and then over here where I have set up my test bench where the camera is set on, I have a belt sander. So other than that, you'll just need some wood. I've got all these pre-cut blanks over here. They're about, a chunk of cedar. So let me go through the process for you. Alright, first I got a little template here, and it's just a piece of cardboard cut out to a basic shape, and I'm going to transpose that shape onto my blank with a pencil. Alright, and for the bottom I just want to do a little scallop design. I'm going to take a circle template and figure out where I want the circles at, and just make a nice little round area on 2 of the 4 sides. Because when you're cutting on the bandsaw, if you cut this side, it's actually going to cut both sides, so how that works. Alright. So now that I got my template drawn on there, I have a curve on this end and a curve on this end and also a curve on this side. So after I cut these 3 things, I'm going to shape the box to its final dimensions, slightly final dimensions. So top that off. That'll give us a nice little area to stand on. Now let's go for the bottom curve. One part. Cut this channel in the bottom. Now we'll move on to this side. So what we have now is the final shape of the box, and I'm going to do some sanding on it. Once I get it sanded, we'll move on to step number 2. Stand by. Put a slight radius on the edge too, so we'll flip the box over and over on itself. See if I can give you a better shot of it with the light in a proper angle. Alright, so we have the top that's rounded over, smooth by the sander, the edges that are beveled, and then the sides are sanded smooth. I wanted to leave this detail on the front, so I sanded it lightly, and you have the detail at the bottom and in the back. Okay, some of this little stuff here will be taken out in final sanding, so this is just a rough blank now. Now we have to cut the body. Let me see if I can one of the main concerns working with wood is lots of dust, and I'm wearing glasses already, so wear all your safety equipment, get a paper mask or a filter so you don't breathe in so much dust. Alright, so here we're going to set up the fence. We don't block you guys' view. We're going to cut off the back. And we're going to cut the back fairly thin. So I'll run this up against the fence, and I'll just make a pass through. And I'm going to adjust my height so that it barely clears. Alright, so this is going to be the back. It'll be glued back into position later. And this is going to be the front. So in the front, I'm going to make 2 cuts on the front. One's going to be a backing, and one's going to be an area where I can cut and mold the front edge to have a picture on it. So for that one, I want to be a little bit wider, give the wood a little bit more meat so that I can carve and shape it. So we're going to make 2 cuts, thick one and then a much thinner one. Okay, this is going to be the front. As you can see, the front is much thicker. I'm going to set that aside also. Back, front, carcass. Just the fence again. I'm going to make a thin cut for the backer. Now when you're doing this, you got to remember which sides all these pieces came off of. Like you can see, here's a distinguishing cracked part, and it matches up right here. What a lot of people like to do is they'll just take a pencil and they'll make a mark in an inconspicuous area if you don't have any natural marks. So you get it lined up. Let's say put a triangle on this side, and then for the back, so that you don't get that mixed up, you see we have some kind of a saw marking here, which may or may not be sanded away later. We're going to put a circle on that side. And you can put hash marks, or you can put whatever you want. I like jump. I like to put symbols on there. So put the back aside, the front aside, and we're going to make another pass on the front, very thin. Okay, so this is the second front piece. So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the top front piece and I'm going to cut it into some different shapes, and then I'll glue those shapes back to the front. Now see, sometimes you have natural fractures in wood, so it's no big deal. All you have to do is put a little glue on it and put it back together and clamp it. It'll be just fine. Alright, so backer for the front piece, that brings us to what's left is the carcass. Okay, so I'm going to make a cut along this edge and then along this edge, and then I'm going to complete the curve to connect those two. Then what I'll do is I'll cut the bottom out, and that'll leave me with a big piece of wood in the middle, which I'll make a drawer out of. So here we go. And that's how you break a blade. I felt the blade actually breaking before it broke, so that's why I slowed down. So we've been using this blade for quite some time. I have some others over here, so we'll put another blade on there, and I'll be right back. Alright, got a new bandsaw blade on. Let me adjust the height real quick. Okay, so this bandsaw blade is a little bit thicker than the original one, so the turning radius is going to be a little bit slower. So hopefully I'll be able to adjust for that. So I'm going to come in from this side. I already made this cut and this cut. I'm going to come in from this side. I originally came in from this side and I was holding the line until the blade broke. So since I'm so close up here, I'm going to come in from this way, hopefully give myself a little bit more meat around this side here. So let's try that now. So I was able to make the cut, and this is what you end up with. You have your inner piece, your outer piece. Now you can see how the box is going to come together a little bit if I put these together. And there we go. That's the carcass in the back. And then you have your back plate. Pardon the wind, guys. And then you have your front. So the front will stand like that. So you see how your box is coming together. And when it's glued, you fine tune it and you get it just perfect. And then you can do some more fine tuning on the sander. So now we have that. So we got to cut the bottom out of this piece, and then the piece that's left over is going to make up the drawer. I'm just going to pencil it in where I think I want it. That's the good thing about the boxes, the way where you cut the material, the other piece will fit it just right. So as long as you keep the pieces oriented properly, you won't have a problem. Now, sometimes you put the piece in backwards, then you'll have to do more sanding or some adjustments or whatever to get it to straighten back out. Alright, so that's going to make the bottom of the box that we'll glue back in place. So when we glue the bottom back in place, we got to get it just right so that all the sides and corners line up. That way when we glue the front and the back on, then we'll have our box, okay? And considerably lighter. Like I said, this is going to be the drawer part. So first on the drawer, what we're going to do is we're going to cut the back off the drawer, and then we'll take and we'll hollow out the inside here. So we'll have a back, and then a side, bottom, and a side. And the front will actually be the backer board to the front piece we cut. So we'll have the box that'll slide in and out of this carcass. Okay, so that's the back to my drawer. And now I'm going to cut the shape of the box. So I'm not going to make the box the full height. I'm just going to make it 3/4 high. You can make it the whole height though. You get into little tiny clearance issues and stuff. So I just like to make the drawer, you know, maybe 3/4 of the way. And then I'll do the same thing as I'll cut in, curve the bottom, cut around, curve the side, back up the side, and then come back up here. Alright, so this is going to all be gone. Inside of the box, and this shape's really not so important. It's just you're just gonna either line it with felt or leave it raw, and you can throw things inside there